My brother screwed me out of $50,000.
Family Feuds.
I was betrayed by my own sister.
Is he lying?
Yes,
Why would he do that?
because he lies for a living.
That is not a nice thing to say.
I know the facts. I'm not stupid.
When siblings clash in a fight for the money.
You're gonna get mad
No,
and not talk to your brother for 3 years?
He won't talk to me.
Now, a mother caught in the middle is forced to choose.
Please forgive me for what I have to say.
Dr. Phil.
Wait a minute, you can't dominate all the conversation here. All right. Now, you need to really listen up today. You know, they say that money is the root of all evil. I can think of a few other things to put on a short list, but that one's certainly at the top. It can cause jealousy, bitterness, and rip entire families apart. Now today, I'm getting in the middle of some vicious family feuds that have pitted brother against sister and mother against daughter. Now, Carole has refused to speak to her brother Jay for the past 3 years. The fireworks started after their father's death in 2001 when they were both ordered by the court to pay a $270,000 judgment against their dad's estate. Now, when Jay refused to fork over his share of the money, the fight was on and the gloves were off.
My brother screwed me out of $50,000. I feel betrayed and I refuse to speak to him.
I was lied to, I was manipulated, and I was betrayed by my own sister. I feel my sister Carole is more motivated by money than anything else.
My brother and I signed a settlement agreement where we promised to pay money to our stepbrother and stepsister.
I told her I had no intention of paying any more money. Carole's response to me was, "You've got to pay, you have no choice." That was the last time I spoke to her.
Relationship with my sister, $50,000. Let's see. Well, I guess the way to do it is to say, blow off the relationship with his sister. I didn't need her anyway. I'd rather have the money. My mother was in the middle in a really big way.
I never felt that they put me in the middle. I took Jay's side.
My daughter Heather is kind of caught in the middle.
It was just a mess. My dad would call me and tell me all these horrible things that my aunt was saying, and my aunt would call me telling me, all these horrible things that my father was saying.
Immediately following my father's death, I had to go out of town, and she picked over all the most valuable possessions and kept them for herself.
My dad said, as soon as I die, pack up all my stuff and get it out of the house. And where was my Jay? Playing pool.
She was more interested in material things than things that were of sentimental value.
My brother puts no sentimental value on anything.
All these sculptures are things that my dad made with his own hands. As far as I'm concerned, they're the most important things that he's left behind. Oh, I just felt sad. I'm sorry, you guys. Oh, man.
I didn't care if I had never inherited anything.
The problem was money. I'll give you the money and get back together with your brother. My daughter was furious. She said, well, that will be helping Jay. What are you going to do for me?
I think the feud initially did start with the money, but I think there's a lot of underlying issues that have never been dealt with.
I used to feel that she was a loving sister, but I feel that she lacks respect for me. How did things ever get so messed up?
I think that my brother is a loser. He dropped out of college. He runs a pool hall. In my opinion, he is a professional gambler.
Jay is a gambler. Leave it to me to allow my son to be what he is.
The only thing I hope is that my mother does not disinherit me because she thinks I am not a worthy daughter.
Because of my experiences with my father's estate, I have a lot of concern about what will happen when my mother passes away because her estate is far greater than my dad's.
My worst fear if the feud doesn't end would be my grandmother passing away, knowing that her two children weren't speaking to one another. I think that would be really hard.
God, tell me what I can do so that my family will be whole again.
Dr. Phil, can you help us resolve this feud? It's been the most painful thing my family has ever experienced.
That was painful for you to watch.
Very.
Tell me why.
Because it was painful for me to be portrayed as someone who is monetarily motivated.
Didn't you put it on that level? Didn't you say, okay, here we are, either pay the money or lose my relationship with my sister? Lose my sister.
We inherited the money from my father 50-50. My dad's estate was forced to pay money. Jay signed a written agreement in front of a judge and about 9 lawyers and said he would pay his share, and asked me if it would be a problem if he didn't.
So you haven't spoken to your brother in 3 years because he has defaulted on his indebtedness as co-trustee to pay his $135,000 of the $270,000 owed, which he agreed to pay.
That's correct.
What's the story? Why aren't you paying the money?
I made the first payment.
Yeah?
So I did pay that. First of all, a little background, Dr. Phil, is right after my father passed away, the co-trustee, another gentleman, I'll just leave him unnamed right now, but the co-trustee resigned as co-trustee right after my father died. And when I was out of town, I wasn't playing pool, I was directing a pool tournament, and it was a job that I had committed to, and I couldn't not do that job for these people. So I came back, and when I got back, the day after I got back, Carole called me and asked me to be a co-trustee to replace
You got suckered.
Well, I feel that way.
What'd you do it for? I mean, you're a 60-year-old man.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if you don't want to do something, what'd you do it for?
She talked me into it. She said, no, what Carole said to me is she said, in case something happens to me, I need you to be the co-trustee.
Okay, is he lying?
Yes.
Okay, why would he do that?
Why would my brother lie?
Yeah.
Because he's a liar. He lies for a living. He's a professional card player.
That
Okay.
is not a nice thing to say.
Hold on, let me introduce you. You're Heather.
Right.
And Sylvia, you
I'm
are the
Jay's and
mother of
Carol's
these
mother.
two, correct?
Yes.
And what are you saying,
I
Heather?
just think that's not a fair statement. I mean, my dad does not lie.
Jay has one of the best value systems of anyone I know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't agree with
not to
that.
just-
But
disagree
you
with my
say
daughter.
that he lies for a living. That's who he is, that he's just a liar. What do you mean by that? And
Well, I mean-
and why would you say that?
Well,
I mean,
because
do you really feel strongly about that? And how do you think that advances the ball here?
I don't think that advances the ball. Up until Jay defaulted on the debt, I never have said a bad word about my brother to anyone
But
at any
now
time.
you say, and I have these in quotes, that he is a loser who works in a pool hall. And
I own the pool hall.
you say money is the main issue for you, but yet when your mother offered to pay it, you refused and threw something at her.
What happened is Mom said to me, should I just give Jay the money? And I said to her at that point in time, first of all, this is about Dad's estate, and if you're going to give money to Jay, that's great, and is Jay going to then be obligated to pay you back? First of all, I want to make something very clear. My dad did not die and Jay was out of town. My dad died. Jay went over to my father's house, identified the body. I was in New Mexico on a vacation. I'm racing home, and the next call I get is from my brother while he's at the airport saying, I'm going to Sacramento to play a pool tournament. I'm Jewish. You're supposed to bury the person right away. And by the way, leave Dad's body in the morgue for a week until I get back from my pool tournament. And I said to my brother, everybody would understand that your father just died. We need to bury him. Also, my father's house belonged to his step-siblings, and my dad repeatedly told us, when I die, in that nanosecond, please, please, clear out my house right away of everything you want. So instead of, and he talked to Jay and I about it at length. Instead of Jay doing that, he took off and went to Sacramento to play pool. So
All right.
I had to do this.
Hold that thought. Hold it. I'm going to let you respond to that just as soon as we come back. We'll be right back.
If I were the judge of the family feud, I would have said, Carole, you created this problem. Jay should not have to pay the money he owes. My daughter does spend money very freely. And I guess you have to be money hungry or hungry for the money. It's so hard to be condemning of one and accepting of the other.
Well, today we're dealing with family feuds, and the battle over cold, hard cash is what it appears to be about. That is what triggers these things. That's what's triggered this thing. I personally don't think that this has a thing to do with money. Now, you say that Jay disrespected your father and his wishes by your dad dies and you leave town to go take care of a job and say just hold everything for a week, which is offensive to you.
No, it was legally not allowed. We didn't have that choice. By law, we had to get everything out of my dad's house immediately, because otherwise what would have happened is the stepchildren would have locked us out. And Dad knew that. We had been advised that that would happen.
Did you do it?
Yes.
What's up with this? Your dad dies and you leave to go do a job and come back a week later?
Well, I was a tournament director of a major tournament being held in Sacramento that started 2 days after my father's death.
Your dad died.
I know. They couldn't replace me. And as far as I was concerned, and maybe this is just my attitude, if they buried him in my absence, it would be okay with me. They didn't have to wait. They didn't have to wait. I talked to you, Carole, and you said we can hold the funeral for a week. I said that would be great.
Jay told me that his girlfriend was Israeli, and in Israel, it's okay. And I said, this is not okay. We need you here now.
Sylvia.
Okay.
Carole, first I want to say I love you, and please forgive me for what I have to say. But as far as having the funeral wait a week, it was my decision and my request, because Jay's father was being buried alongside our oldest son, who we lost 32 years ago. We had to wait a week before we could take care of Bruce because it was a military thing. So I saw no harm in waiting to have the funeral, because Jay did have an important obligation. And his father would have been very happy if he were alive and would have known. As far as the monies, I just have one more thing to say.
Please.
The reason I felt that Jay wasn't as obligated to repay those funds was because most of that money was legal fees, which were incurred, I feel, because the estate was mishandled. And I didn't feel Jay had ever anything to do with that estate. That's why I felt that the legal fees were not his obligation.
So you thought the legal fees were incurred because Carole mishandled?
I did. I may be wrong, but that was what I heard.
Okay, well, no, wait a minute. You can't dominate all the conversation here, okay? You got 3-4 people here, and you're doing 80% of the talking. And you're a lawyer. So you're going to do that if I let you. Let me ask you something. If this is not about the money, what is it about?
Well, it is about the money, too. I feel like I got ripped off. I got suckered into something. Listen, I never saw one document from any trust. I never saw a check. I never wrote a check. I never received a dime in legal fees. Why do I have to pay this debt?
Okay, let me tell you why you have to pay the debt. Because you agreed to be a trustee, and you are a full-grown man who willingly, knowingly, and with full opportunity to get legal counsel of your own if you wanted to, agreed to enter the trust and be a trustee. That was the first time you acknowledged that you would handle the responsibilities of that position. The second time was when you signed a settlement agreement which said you would pay your portion of that. So that wasn't just once I made a bad decision because I just got back in town and was pressured into it. Then you signed a settlement agreement which you said you would. You are absolutely right on the legal points. I get that. I understand that. So that's why you should have to do it. Then if you feel like that was inappropriate, then you can bring an action against her if you want to. You can do whatever you want. But you are legally obligated to do it. Is it fair? Is it just? I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know if you mismanaged it or not. You think she did? But you can't just play the victim here. I don't think it's about this. You want to make it about that? You want to make it about that, you're going to lose.
Well, I trusted my sister.
That's what this is about. It's not about the money. You want to make it about the money? Fine, but you're going to lose. This is about trust between a brother and a sister. Do you blame him for your brother's death? Be honest.
Absolutely 100% not. Never. Jay has told me 1,000,000 times that he felt responsible for my brother's death. And I, every time, said to you, and you know this, that you had nothing to do with it. You were there, you saw the accident, it wasn't your fault. I have no idea why my brother died. God made a decision at that moment in time that Bruce should be taken away. That has nothing to do.
You don't hold resentment towards him because he changed the seat in the race car. You don't think that his malfeasance, even at a subconscious level, you don't resent him for that.
And
I'm not saying you do, I'm asking, because I've read emails that you provided that certainly suggests to me that this is a painful, unresolved thing for you.
Right. You hate yourself, Jay, you told me many times you think you killed Bruce, and maybe you did. I don't know, because I wasn't there, but I never...
saying that. I don't remember ever saying that.
Well, DrPhil...
Maybe you did, I don't know. That doesn't sound very supportive, and I'm not saying you're... I'm
First
just
of all,
asking
that email didn't get sent.
I know it didn't.
Yeah, it was just
I know it didn't. You provided it to us because you said that is exactly how you currently feel.
The way I currently feel is that my brother was a wonderful, important, he was the love of my life. I loved my brother. He was the closest thing on earth to me. I have cried more tears over his death, Dr. Phil, than anybody needs to.
Let's see what you both had to say about your brother.
I think the issues with my sister really began after my brother died 30 years ago. Bruce and I were into automobile racing, and I was with him in a race where he was killed. And another car ran into the back of Bruce's car. She died instantly. I've always felt that somehow my sister held me partially responsible.
I have never, read my lips, never blamed Jay for my brother's death. Jay felt he was responsible for Bruce's death because there was a clip on the roll bar. He felt that he shouldn't have put the clip there. His neck hit the clip and it severed his medulla. That's what killed Bruce. How my brother died, only God knows, and maybe Jay.
So sorry. I miss my brother Bruce so much. And no one knows, no one's ever asked me how I feel.
So how do you feel?
I feel sad. I miss him. He was the only person that liked me when I was a kid. My mother hated me, and Jay was busy. My mother was verbally, she knows that. She's apologized. She was verbally abusive and physically abusive. And only Bruce was the one that stopped her one day when she was going to smack me. He stood there and stopped her and said, "Mom, what are you doing?"
Let me ask you something. Look over your shoulder. All right. This is your brother. Okay, this is your brother. And you miss him so badly, and it is so painful, then why do you set your life up to take your other brother out of your life?
I never have, Dr. Phil. He's the one that has never spoken to me.
Have you spoken to your brother in the last 3 years?
Because he won't talk to me.
You're not a victim. You have the ability to do what you want to do in this relationship. You have lost one brother,
Right.
and then you're going to get mad over some money and not talk to your brother for 3 years? And what do you...
No, I'm here because I want us to talk.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we are going to talk.
Because of this feud between my sister and I, most family gatherings the last couple of years, they made it into a double occasion where one of us would come early and one of us would come late.
When I got married, and my brother and I were buddies. Jay and I were so close that my dad and my brother walked me down the aisle. Now I feel like I don't have a family.
We're talking today about how feuds can tear apart the foundation of a family, especially if the fight gets to be about the almighty dollar. It just makes us do things we regret later. Jay, do you carry guilt about the death of your brother?
Sure I do. Yeah.
I feel bad for you. You shouldn't.
See, nobody really understood what happened, why Bruce died, so I did my own investigation. I figured out exactly how it happened. And I remember when we were building that car, Bruce and I had a discussion about buying a high back seat or a low seat. And the low seat was like half the price of the high back seat. And he said, it's okay, we'll just put a head restraint. We'll build a head restraint. And we made a choice to buy the low seat. If we'd have bought that high back seat, Bruce would still be alive today.
But you understand that, look, life is all about intention. You did what you did in concert with your brother. You did it in good faith. You made a decision. You never had a shred, a molecule of ill will or animosity or disregard for his safety.
Well, Dr. Phil, for a few years after the accident, it was real hard for me to come to grips with it. And finally, one day, I just had a realization. I just looked at myself and said, wait a second, I didn't want my brother to die.
But you understand, at least logically, intellectually, regardless of what anybody might say or think, you don't own that death.
No, I don't own that death. Not anymore.
Do you get and understand that you are carving your brother out of your life and you're carving your sister out of your life here over presumably some money here?
I totally get it. That's the reason that I'm so upset.
And do you understand, do the two of you understand the pain you are causing your mother to see you two fractured and divided? May I be politically very incorrect and ask you how old you are?
I'm 84.
She's 84 years old. Let me tell you something. At 84 years old, she deserves the peace of knowing that her family is unified and intact. She deserves having that state of mind and that peace. She just does. This family needs a hero. This family needs somebody that steps up and says, I will be the bigger one. I will close this gap.
So I will.
Then you have to be willing to do that. And let me tell you what you have to do. You have to stop and ask yourself, if you lost your brother, if Jay walked out of here and had a heart attack and fell over dead, what would be left unsaid? Look at your brother.
I love you and I don't understand why you allow yourself to just push me away for Barbara or whoever because you think that you didn't know money. Why didn't you just call me up and say, what are we going to do about this? I don't think I should pay it. Why didn't you just talk to me? I've never not been with you. I don't understand why you don't like me.
Look at your sister. Look at me. Look at your sister. What do you want with her? What do you want in a perfect world? If you could write the script of life, what is your relationship with her? Look at her and tell her.
I thought our relationship was pretty good before all this happened.
No, stop.
Yeah.
I don't want a bunch of crap from your head. If you could write the script of your perfect life, what would your relationship with this woman be? Jay, step up, buddy.
That we would be brother and sister again, Carole. Just
Do
to
you
be
mean
together.
that? Are you
Yeah.
being sincere
No.
and truthful and honest?
Talk to her, Jay. Talk to her. You are at a crossroads right now. And if you haven't noticed, you two aren't getting any younger.
Well, I'd like to have a really good relationship with you, Carole. I'd like to be really close again. I love you, Carole. You're my baby sister, you know? I
Tell
want
her
to take
what you
care of you.
miss.
I just miss being with you, being in your home, spending time with you. I don't know why all this happened, Carole. I'm sorry.
I want love
Well,
in my heart forever. And,
okay.
and if I fight with you, I can't complete that. And if you feel that you have a problem with me, when have I ever not been there for you? Ever. Tell me when.
I want you two to agree to spend time together. And I want you to agree that under no circumstances will you discuss this money issue for 90 days. A boundary is going up. You have to just talk about your relationship. Will you do that for me, Jay?
Yes, I will.
Carole, will you do that for me?
Yes, I will.
Okay. And please, please, will you be my traffic cop here, Mom? Will you make sure that they do spend time together? Heather, will you
DrPhil.
help?
Thank
Off
you
the table.
Thank you so much.
If there's any fighting, you call me.
I will, definitely.
Because I will open up a can of whoop ass you won't believe. All right? Okay. All right, next, the daughter's ultimatum. Either mom gets rid of the man she lives with or she'll never see the $100,000 she loaned her daughter again. We'll be right back. Well, today I'm trying to settle some family feuds. Now, when Christy needed a $100,000 loan, she went to her mother. But when it came time to pay the money back, Christy says, no way, not until you get rid of the new man that's living in our house.
My daughter and I have been feuding for over a year.
I refuse to talk to my mother. She's living with a man who could ruin her financially.
She owes me over $100,000. I've given Christy $55,000 to start a restaurant, $6,000 for the air conditioning for the restaurant, $12,000 to buy her home, $10,000 on 2 different occasions just to help her out.
I'm withholding the money until my mother's partner, Clay, is out of the picture.
That's my money. It's my money. I wake up every morning and regret that I loaned her that money.
I don't trust Clay. He took another woman out to dinner and used my mother's credit card. I did research online and found out he was a registered sex offender. She defended him by saying he's found the Lord. I feel that my mother is in jeopardy.
This is insane. Christy's blackmailing me. My relationship with Clay is strictly business. Clay and I were not a romantic couple that long. This is where I sleep. That's where Clay sleeps. Christy idolized her father.
After my father's passing, I received phone calls from friends. Christy, you need to come down and check on your mother. Things aren't right. When I went home, I saw someone else's shirts in my dad's closets. She was already involved with Clay. She had gotten a facelift. She had invested in a large 18-wheel truck. He was taking control. When I asked him, what are you in this for? He said, well, I'm in it for the payoff. Clay threatened my mother. He told her that he would cut her head off and roll it down the hall like a bowling ball.
Christy hates Clay.
Until Clay is out of the picture, I'm withholding the loan payments.
I'm not going to get rid of this man.
I'm engaged. If I got married right now, my mother would not be invited.
Dr. Phil, could you please help us settle this family feud?
Well, I don't care how flat you make a pancake, it's got two sides. And I feel like I could get up on my hind legs and argue both sides of this with equal passion. What do you think gives you the right to not pay back the money you owe to somebody that extended it to you in good faith?
I feel that I represent my father and everything he stood for, and I feel that the situation, if him looking at the situation, he would want to see some changes.
When you borrowed the money, did you say, I'm borrowing this as a representative of my father? Did you say, there will be conditions upon which I will pay this back? Or did you just say, I need this money, will you loan it to me?
The last conversation I had with my father before we found out that he was sick, he and I had talked about opening a restaurant together. I went to her to borrow the money.
Do you acknowledge that you borrowed the money on one set of understandings and you're going to try and pay it back on another?
I don't feel like it's time to repay it. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel that my father would feel comfortable.
But you agreed to?
Right. And I still intend to.
But you reached that agreement?
Right.
You feel like you've got justification for it, but you've breached the agreement. What do you think there, Mom?
This is just tearing me apart. This is not a lot of money, but you know, it's a lot of money to me, but it's not worth losing a daughter. And to sit and hear her say that I would not be invited to her wedding.
That hurts to hear.
It hurts deeply.
Does she have some valid points here that you need to weigh and consider?
She does have some valid points, and we've talked many times about her concern.
All right, I'm going to ask you what you think about those and which ones you think are valid when we come back. And we're going to meet the man who you say has come between you and your mother. And we're going to hear what he has to say about this bitter feud. We'll be right back.
The feud with Christy. I hate the fact that it's happening, but it's not because of any of my actions.
Clay's ruined my relationship with my mother.
I don't feel any guilt.
My father would be angry with my mother.
Christy wants what Christy wants. She never has to accept me, but she's only got one mother.
Well, that was Clay, the man Christy claims is the real reason she won't pay back the nearly $100,000 that she's borrowed from her mother. What points does she have that are valid? I mean, I suppose what you're saying is, wait a minute here. My dad's just deceased. A short period of time, just a matter of a few months, you take up with a convicted felon, Clay.
Yes.
Okay. And Clay, you had been in the penitentiary, correct?
Correct.
For what?
Sexual battery.
Sexual battery.
Correct.
Rape?
No.
What's sexual
just
battery?
An assault.
I'm sorry?
Assault, sexual assault.
Sexual assault. And how much time were you in?
I was in for 9.5 years.
Were you convicted rightly, correctly? Did you do?
It was a plea bargain agreement, and I took it. And
okay, so you were guilty of what you were charged with?
Correct.
And you served the time?
Correct.
Okay. Does it strike you as odd that your daughter would be concerned?
Oh, no, it doesn't.
That you would take up with someone with this history?
Especially knowing the relationship that her dad and I had. We were married for 35 years.
And then less than a year after that, you're involved with a convicted felon that's been in prison for 9.5 years.
Right, but...
And you're saying, I don't want to give it money back because he's going to get his hands on it and it's going to be gone and she ain't going to have anything, right? That's your position?
That's everything my dad worked for to make sure she was taken care of when he was gone.
Can you think if you give it back that Clay will exploit that or may exploit that and then it'll be gone and then she's going to say, I wish I'd have listened? And that's your concern. And you're not concerned about that?
No, Clay
So
does
you
not-
two have a partnership, right?
Absolutely.
Are you 50-50 partners?
Yes.
But it's all your money?
I put up the money for
You
the
put up
investment.
100% of the money and you own 50% of the partnership?
He does a
I do
lot
100% of the work.
He does a lot of the work.
Well, you can get paid for that.
I have a small interest in it as far as monetarily, but I would say 10% money is mine, 90% Jackie's.
Does that seem right and just and fair to you?
I think it's fair.
Okay, that's what
I think it's fair. I think our agreement is fair.
Okay, let me ask you a couple of things. Did you tell Christy you're in this for the payoff?
That could be misconstrued. The payoff is Jackie began to start her life over. I was starting my life over again. I've ever only known one way of life, through my family, through our family business, and one thing. Jackie showed me a whole better way, a whole new life, and helped me begin my life over again in a positive surrounding compared to going right back to the same path that I followed once before.
Okay. Did you say you were in it for the payoff?
I'm in for what we can build, absolutely.
Okay. Now, you two were romantically involved, and you say now you're not.
No, we're
Correct.
not. We're business partners.
Okay, but you're living in her house
Yes.
with her?
Correct.
Yes.
And
And I've offered to, if it would correct this situation, that I would remove myself from there. I would move.
are you paying rent?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Well, I
so
mean, everything is out of our,
It's-
joint funds.
It's a business proposition.
we don't have any joint funds. They're her funds.
Well, correct.
Oh, he
So
does.
you're paying her rent with her money?
No, it's not that.
I'm just asking. I want to know. You want to know this, right? And this isn't headed where you probably think it is, but I'm just curious if that's the deal. Did you say, I'm going to cut your mother's head off and roll it down the hallway like a bowling ball?
In a way, yes. That was a long time, yes. In the heat of argument, yes, I did.
We'll be right back.
It enrages me and then it saddens me. I can't get a home until Christy pays me back the money that she owes.
I'm protecting my mother's money from being put into the wrong hands.
Well, today we're trying to resolve a bitter feud between a mother and a daughter. And Clay, you're involved in this, whether you want to be or not. Listen, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the drawer, but there are some warning signs here that would, I think, cause any child that was concerned about their mother to have concerns about your well-being and your future and your judgment, frankly.
Absolutely. I agree.
You have a registered sex offender living in your home, and you paid your debt. You went to prison, you did your time, you apparently paid your debt to society, and you're out at this point, and I don't take that away from you. I acknowledge and recognize that. But acknowledge and recognizing that and moving a boy in the house are two different things. Here's the thing that I'm concerned about. This is your mother, and you don't have the right to tell her what to do. She's your mother. She didn't work for you. She's not your child. You don't have authority over her. You borrowed money on one set of understandings and you agreed to pay it back, and you haven't done that, and you don't have the right to do that. You don't have a legal right to do that. Now, you feel you have a moral obligation to protect her from herself, and you're saying, well, I don't think I'm in jeopardy here, and you have a partnership. Let me tell you, partnerships are ships, and ships go down. And if you got all the money in this and you're 50% ownership in it and you decide to just quit, you're in a real compromised position. I really am just trying to stand back and look at this thing in a way that I can heal the relationship, because I don't care about anything else except that. I deal in people and relationships and feelings. I'm not a financial consultant. I'm not a lawyer. Don't mean to brag, but I'm not. Just kidding, just kidding. I said relationships need heroes. Would you be willing, out of deference to your daughter's concerns, to get an independent consultant that would really look at whether or not you and therefore your husband's estate are protected, so that you don't feel the need to hold the money hostage? Because that's what you're doing. You're saying, get rid of him or you ain't getting this money. This is my daddy's money, as much as it is yours, and I'm not giving it to him through you. That's where you are, right?
That's how I feel, yeah.
All right, so would you be willing to bring in an independent lawyer that would look at this and just say, listen, you really need to get some protections here. You need to restructure this perhaps. And you might agree or not, but would you be willing to do that?
I would certainly be willing to do that. But Dr. Phil, one thing Clay has helped me through all this in the last 4 years, he has helped me to provide a way for me to make a living. You know, I had never worked except what I wanted to do part-time, and here I was facing the world with having to make a living for myself. And Clay has helped me with that, and nobody else did.
Might work out great. Really, it absolutely might work out great. But I mean, honestly, don't be short-sighted here. You are not proud of your history.
Oh, absolutely
I mean,
not.
he is a registered sex offender, 9.5 years in prison. He's 20 years younger than you. This is just like big red flags jumping up all over the place. And I'm just saying, will you agree to get an independent business consultant that the two of you agree on? Would you agree to do that?
Yes, I would.
Would you agree to participate in that and stop holding your mother's money hostage? If this lawyer says, look, I've got this thing structured so that money can't flow through, she can't be exploited, all of this is, you're not going to be subject to getting ripped off here, then you would comply with what you are supposed to do, correct?
Yes.
And you would invite your mother to your wedding?
Yes.
What I'm saying is, will you be the hero and step up and create a middle ground where your daughter has some peace of mind about you not being left with nothing if, in fact, he is a bad actor that's going to exploit you in some way?
I don't believe he's a bad actor.
I'm not saying you do. I assume you wouldn't be in business with him if you
right.
did. And if he's not, then this will be real easy. But is there anything to lose by having this thing looked at and monitored by an objective professional?
That's why I wrote to you.
And that's what I'm telling you I think you should do.
Trying to help me
And
fix
will
it.
you embrace that as well? We'll be right back. I really want to thank all of my guests today because people that come here and are open and honest about this thing, you inspire so many people. I mean, people that look at these things in their own lives. I mean, we all have money and families and things happen, and if this has been instructive in some way for your situation, that's a good thing. Don't ever let money be at the heart of a dispute in your family. I mean, you have to ask yourself, is it really worth it? Would I sell my relationship for that amount of money? If somebody came and said, I'll give you $50,000 if you never speak to your mother again, would you take the money? Hell no. Well, I don't know your mother. But you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't sell that relationship. You wouldn't sell your family peace. So don't put it out because of money on your own. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.